Hello, my name is Shelby Giotto. Thank you so much for reaching out about the personalized curriculum guidebooks that I've been working on. I really appreciate it. So before I get into the details of what the book will include, I want to give you a little bit of background information about who I am and my credentials as a teacher. So I've worked in Spring Branch as a first grade teacher for 6 years. I graduated from the University of Texas at Austin, where I received my Bachelor's of Science in Applied Learning and Development with a reading specialization. And then I went on to pursue my master's degree in curriculum and instruction with a reading specialization as well. So literacy is definitely my expertise. I love teaching kids how to crack the code to reading, and I love teaching kids how to become great writers as well. So due to the safety concerns of the pandemic, I have chosen to take this time to be with my 2 babies, and this is part of that experience, is creating these books for parents who feel that the virtual learning is not quite enough, or is not developmentally appropriate, or just not appropriate for the way that your child learns. So this gives you another option. So now let me move into the details here, and the flyer that I'm about to show you, I'll be sending this to you as well so you can have a closer look at it. So the guidebook will be a soft cover book, a real book that your child can actually write in and consume, and it will be an archive of their learning and a really great piece of assessment data too, to see their progress as they move throughout the lessons. But the biggest component of this book is the assessments. So at the beginning I will do an assessment that can be done virtually or in person. With a young child like a pre-K student, I would suggest in person to get more accurate data. So I'll be assessing their reading capabilities, their emergent reading capabilities, their writing, all through games, of course, and a very kid-friendly experience. So I'll use that data to then personalize very focused, targeted lessons over 6 weeks worth of math and reading lessons that target what they need exactly. I also include a social emotional component in there that is also personalized to whatever skills you feel your child needs to build and work on. So those activities and crafts will really hit their emotional needs as well. And again, the lessons are user-friendly, they're not complicated, and they're basically scripted, so all you have to do is read what it says, and the activities are pretty simple. You can also reach out if you would like to add in virtual teacher-led lessons that can supplement and support the lessons in the curriculum guidebook. This certainly would help with learning outcomes. So the book is a softcover book. Like I said, it has individualized, personalized lessons, which is very exciting because sometimes in the classroom, children, as hard as we teachers try to accommodate and personalize things, with so many children, sometimes it's difficult to do that for everyone. So in a minute, I'm going to show you a book that I've been working on for a little boy that was entering pre-K this year. And while his reading skills are right about level, his math was much higher, so he'll be doing first grade math. So again, it's very personalized to what your kid needs. And so it also includes activity pages, the book will, so they can independently practice, as well as weekly assessments and checkpoints to determine whether or not they mastered the skill. The lessons will increase in rigor throughout the 6 weeks. So it takes a lot of time to build this book and to gather assessments, to plan for it, to write the curriculum is a massive task, and then I'll have it shipped off to Bookemon, and they will make it into a softcover book. And so there I have the price for you and my credentials as well. Again, I'll send you this flyer so that you can really dive in and look at it closely. So this is an example of the first page of a book that I'm working on for a pre-K boy, and he loves Star Wars. He's really into that. So I'll be sending you a questionnaire to find out your child's interests, to find out all kinds of information about them so that I can use that as well as all the assessments that I'll do to create a book that's just right for them. So at the beginning of every week, I have an overview of the lessons that will be conducted each day. That way your caregiver knows what the learning goals are right away, the objectives, and they'll be able to gather any materials that they think they might need to do the activities. Then I also, at the beginning of each week, I have a checklist that increases in difficulty throughout the 6 weeks. So this is to be done in addition to the lessons every day, no matter what, so that your child is still focusing on other skills that perhaps the lessons don't incorporate that day. So at school, we spend a lot of time reviewing. This is that review section. So, and again, it will increase in difficulty. So right now, I only expect him to read for 5 minutes from familiar books that he's memorized. Eventually, that will become 10 and move on to 15 later on in the course of the book, as well as the rigor of math. That will increase too. So here's a sample lesson, day 1 lesson plan. So when I did the assessment on this particular child, he really struggled with a handful of letters, the sounds, and the names. So the literacy lessons are really targeting only those letters that he's struggling with. And then going back to this review, he'll still be learning the alphabet, of course, but the lessons are targeted to those growth areas that he needs to focus on. And again, the math is tailored to his needs. He was able to do higher level math, so that's what you'll see here for his math. Very personalized. I also include a reminder to the caregiver to make sure you complete those foundational skills checklist every day to maintain retention of prior knowledge learned. So again, here's another lesson. I try and use things that you would have around the house. Anything that you might not, I'll send you a supply list so that way you can have what you need for the book. And then, of course, there's a learning outcome section to the right here so that your caregiver or you can check whether or not the child successfully mastered it. That way you can go back and reteach this or do another activity that's similar to remediate and help your child learn that skill so that they can move on to the next skill. So again, more sample lesson plans that are focused entirely on what the child needs and where they need to move forward. So here's an example of the character counts craft that I incorporate every week. Now, for young children, a lot of social emotional development happens through dramatic play and through basic interactions with the caregiver, with siblings, with family members. So most of that social emotional aspect will happen through play when they're this young. However, I remind the caregiver to be very intentional about focusing on that particular skill. Let's say we're working on being patient. For this child, it was showing a bit more kindness when asking for things, not demanding things. So kindness is the focus here. And so the craft will have him, create a gift for somebody that's really thoughtful and something that he can give to someone as a gift and feel that sense of gratification from that. So this is just one example. And then again, we have another lesson plan. And then here's an example of a practice activity. So this is where your child will get to actually write in the book and do an activity on their own to practice. And then day 5 is the assessment day. So this gives me a sense of whether or not they mastered the skill that week. So just like we would do at school, it's an independent assessment to see how they did. So, and then this is just, once they've completed the book, I'll incorporate some kind of fun coloring page or activity for them to do. And if you go back into the lessons, you can see that I use the child's name. I really try and make that personal for them so that they're motivated by it. And then the characters too. If your child's into certain characters, I can include them in the book as well. So I hope this gives you a lot of information. I'm sorry if this video is too long here, but hopefully it answers any questions you might have about it. And please reach out if you need more information. Thank you so much again for your interest, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.